trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics.
Fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching Atlantic Television Network. This is ATN Politics. ATN Politics is the network's flagship program that discusses core political issues with relevant political stakeholders. Today on ATN Politics, we'll be discussing core issues from different political landscapes. First, we'll look at Kaduna State. Assembly Committee indicts El Rufai of siphoning 422 billion naira. On Labour Party, Obedient Affairs renamed Directorate of Mobilization. Still on Labour Party, Obi says Obedient movement supersedes any political party. On politics, Atiku urges President Tinubu to stop deceiving Nigerians. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we delve right into the show.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey. Light o usai. The infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract where we do that time now? They don't pay.
But
you know, say I get annual levy where they pay for club. Where me and boys they shout beer in our house, I could pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? We they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time. Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you not read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me, do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You're not electrician.
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't you said you know they behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Two lights. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what thing are you for? Come on for home my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. Do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put them for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, you drink am now. I dey sell am plantain. I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa. Come not be for this country. Now me talk am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on Atn Politics today.
Welcome back. Joining me on Atn Politics this evening is Mufasa Ehimosen, a political analyst. Good evening, Mr. Mufasa. Welcome to Atn Politics. All right. And on to the stories. The ad hoc committee set up by the Kaduna State House of Assembly to investigate all finances, loans, and contracts awarded under the immediate past Governor Nasser El-Rufai submitted its report on Wednesday, indicting the ex-governor and some of his appointees of siphoning 423 billion naira state funds. But El-Rufai, in a swift reaction by his media aide, Muyiwa Adekeye, knocked the report, describing it as false and scandalous. Now, Mr. Mufasa. Now, Mr. Mufasa, if you would recall, sometime in the past, some months back, the governor of Kaduna State, Obasani, came out to say that he was having issues, he was having challenges paying salaries, and of course, you know, even bringing up projects in the state as a result of the liabilities he inherited from Nasser El-Rufai. Now, in response, if you recall, Nasser El-Rufai's son came out to lash out at the governor and, you know, said a lot of charitable statements in defense of his father. Now, moving forward, the Kaduna State House of Assembly has, of course, they've come into the matter, and at the end of the probe, at the end of their investigation, they've submitted their reports, and they said they indicted Nasser El-Rufai, and they are suggesting that relevant authorities should look into misappropriation of funds. What is your immediate reaction to this?
Thank you very much. I actually did not see this coming, especially if you want to consider the fact that Governor Ubasani has been a strong ally of the former governor. Dates back to even when the former governor was FCT minister. You know, they've been working together. But even if you want to look at it from the level of accountability, I would say that engaging in such a probe, you know, to a large extent, spark off some kind of accountability and transparency in government. I want to still say that provided it's not political, provided it's not a way to wish on the former governor, and what we see is in fact is outrageously unfortunate that such a huge amount, you know, would be allegedly, you know, unaccounted for somebody in the person of Malam Nasser El-Rufai, you know, that has this, you know, this integrity toga that is usually worn around him. But then again, I know that this is just the beginning. It's still an allegation, and I know that it now falls back on El-Rufai and his team to come and respond to the allegation. You understand? We cannot, in a haste, say that the allegation is true or false. We also need to hear from Malam Nasser El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, in the spirit of fair hearing. But for me, I think such a probe should go round not just Kaduna State alone. We want to be seeing this kind of move because whether we accept it or not, government business is public business. And if you have been given the opportunity to serve in any capacity, you should understand that the responsibility that has been given to you, one day you'll be called to account for your, you know, everything that, you know, that was carried out during your term in office. So it's a nice move. Like I've said before, let us not begin to see it from the political angle, especially if there is sincerity of purpose and intention. I don't want to begin to go into just recently the former governor was more or less having issues with the current president, you know, and before then, we did not see any of such move. It was after Malam Nasile Rufai was beginning to say certain things, you know, about subsidy and all of that, and, you know, there was rumor in the streets that it may even, or it might even dump
when
the
started
APC.
having talks with people from other parties.
From other parties. So
there were insinuations of a merger.
Good. So these are the things that some of us, you know, are just trying to place side by side with the current findings of Governor Obasanjo. But like I've said before, it still behoves on Malam Nasile Rufai, the former governor, to come and equally state his position on the matter.
Yeah, well, talking about political winch hunt, you know, I was actually getting there before you now mentioned it. When you look at Nasser El-Rufai, particularly under the current administration of the federal government, you know, at some point there was a time he was fingered as one of the persons that they have to screen at the National Assembly for the position of a minister. You know the fallout of that, and I think that was the beginning of probably the sour relationship right now. And then moving forward, this issue started. It's almost similar to what's going on in Kano State. Somebody made a statement, fell out with the governor, and then this. Now, moving forward, when you now said that it shouldn't end with Kano State, it should extend to other states as well. The question would be, as beautiful as it may sound, do you think it's feasible in this country? That's number one. Now, number two, if you recall, there have been probes and counter-probes. There have been panels of inquiries and counter-panels of inquiries. Even governors, past governors, who have a case to answer with EFCC. What result have you seen so far? Have you seen any serious, have you seen any conviction that stood the test of time? So do you think this probe is going to make any difference, even if they institute probe across the states?
You know, quite naturally, especially if you want to consider the Nigerian factor, like you rightly said, it's not as if this is the first time we'll be seeing a successor, you know, making a move to probe his predecessor. There was a time in Rivers State when even the former government of Governor Nyesom Wike tried to look into the runnings of government of his predecessor, talking about the administration of former Governor Rotimi Amechi, and you saw how everything played out, how a white paper came out, and at the end of the day, nothing really happened. And for me, that would equally present some of the premonitions and doubts about how certain, you know, or how well these issues will be followed to its logical conclusion. But I'm a proponent of the fact that, you see, there can never be a wrong time to do the right thing. The people equally have a role to play in this, you know. Let us not start having various divides, because I know that in time to come, this is what we usually see. You see the supporters of one party coming out to say that this our person, even if you, the pro panel, even if they come up with valid, tangible evidences against the accused, you see the same people coming out to say that it can never be. And most times, it usually frustrates the process. Another angle is the judiciary. In recent times, the judiciary has actually not lived up to its expectations because, you see, a probe panel is not a court. You know, just like you have panel of inquiry, you have some other, there's a name they call it, you know, but then again, if they've come up with a resolution and, you know, reports are submitted to maybe the anti-graft agencies or the institute's legal proceedings, you tend to see a delay in judicial process. Most times, it usually frustrates the entire process. So these are the factors. It's not as if it's not tenable, okay? Our democracy is growing. They call it fledgling democracy. For almost 24 years, we've had uninterrupted, democratic rule. So for me, it should be a way to strengthen our democracy further. It doesn't matter whose ox is God. It doesn't matter if they were friends before, if they were allies before. The thing is, the person that is probing now should understand that the moment he leaves office, the person that takes over from him should equally probe him. It should be something that, is instituted in the system. Let it not be a situation where when you have problems with your predecessor, you now begin to contemplate probe. Even in Rivers State as we speak, the current governor has made a strong statement that he's going to probe the activities of his predecessor. And you saw the aftermath of such pronouncements, So let us institute it into our system. Let it be a normal practice, because for me, accountability and transparency is what gives strength to democracy. If at the end of the day, the people have given you a responsibility and there is a social contract by way of that responsibility, then somewhere along the line, there's a breach of that contract. There has to be consequences. That should serve as a deterrent to anybody who feels coming to public office is a way to become a billionaire overnight. So for me, it's tenable. That is if there is sincerity of purpose and intention.
All right. Now let's look at two things. You mentioned two concerns. The first is the role of the judiciary in ensuring that these probes happen, and of course justice is seen to be served at the end of the day, and it's also transparent.
Exactly.
Now, if you recall, and when you were talking about the judiciary, you also brought in the case of River State. I don't know if you are aware, but there is a limit to which River State's governors can be probed. They cannot not be probed actually, because the past governor, Peter Odili, got a permanent injunction from the courts to stop the probes of governors with respect to the finances and whatever happened with money while they are on seats. Right. Now, when that order was given, it was not vacated. And after that, it became a permanent injunction. So now, looking at the role of the judiciary, you would wonder in the first place, why would the judiciary, why would a judge even grant such orders to stop to even issues of corruptions and all that? We say that judiciary has been instrumental to the quagmire we find ourselves in the country.
In as much as I know that the judiciary, they have their own part of blame to carry in terms of the fight against corruption and anti-graft activities, and graft activities by elected. Then again, in the case of the perpetual injunction, what I call it perpetual, you call it permanent, I do not think it has to be internal. It's not eternal. It's not something that cannot be vacated. It can.
There was a time limit.
No, it can. It can. It's not possible for that injunction to stand.
Do your research.
No, I'm coming. The anti-graft agencies can appeal that injunction.
Are you aware that there was a time the former governor, the FCT minister, tried to probe the ex-governor, Amechi? Did he stand?
Now,
what was the result of that?
Now, good.
What I'm looking at is the role of the judiciary.
Agreed. I know the angle you are driving to. Now, the judiciary, to be fair to the judiciary in this instance, is not a Father Christmas.
Okay.
Now, if an issue is taken to the judiciary, and there is a prayer or an appeal, it all depends on how forceful that appellant is to get what he or she wants. The judge, in his wisdom and discretion, haven't seen the weight of such prayers can grant it.
Okay.
Now, it behoves on the anti-graft agencies in this instance to appeal, because it is not, the perpetual injunction is not, it cannot be eternal. It's not something that cannot be vacated. It can. I stand to be corrected, but I'm telling, no, it can. No, that, okay. Are you telling me now that
you stand to be corrected? I'm trying to.
Okay. Now, are you okay? Now we are having a discussion. Am I correct? Now, are you telling me now that from now till the end of time?
Do your.
I will.
It cannot
I will because I know that lawyers. I'm coming.
When that injunction was given, there is a window. I think a window of 6 months.
That
you can actually appeal that order and it will be vacated, but that was not done. As long as when that window closed, it became permanent.
So are you telling me now that even the Rivers State government, assuming the current governor wants that perpetual injunction to be removed?
Probably. Okay, if he wants it.
If he wants to be, are you telling me that it cannot be removed?
Best of luck. Wike tried.
No. Wike did not try.
Just go.
No. You know why?
I don't want us to.
No, we are not debating. But I know.
I just brought something to your knowledge.
Good, okay.
You can do your research.
Okay.
So you can give informed. You can give correct information to the people.
Okay, good.
Okay. But let's just dwell on the role of the judiciary. That's the first one I asked, and then the second one I asked is I asked you. So far, have you seen a successful conviction as a result of these probes?
And I told you.
What level of success do you think these probes can achieve with regards to how you have seen it go so far over the years with the judiciary in the country?
And I told you that provided there is sincerity of purpose and intention, if you want to probe, don't probe because you suddenly just start having problems with your predecessor. Now, if it amounts to that, there's every possibility that it may not be followed to its logical conclusion because somewhere along the line, it can be thwarted. It can be thwarted, okay. You know. But if there is sincerity of purpose and intention, and the people are strongly behind such probe, I'm sure it will be followed to its logic. It's possible that we've not been able to get something out of such, panels of inquiries, probe panel or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't mean that if much seriousness is given to it, doesn't mean we won't achieve, something out of it. Okay. But the bottom line here is it a political wish hunt? Is it something just to rock the boat, just to shake the tree a little and see how far the person in question can, yield somewhere along the line? We may not know what is behind the scene. We may not know what is to give or what is to take. But for me, I believe that this is what should be encouraged, not just in Kaduna State alone. It should transcend beyond Kaduna State and go around the entire length and breadth of this country, including the presidency. The moment you are out of office, yes, nobody should be seen as bigger than any probe because, like I've said before, it is a social contract. The people gave you responsibility.
What was the outcome of Oputa panel?
We are saying the same thing.
All right.
Oputa panel is not a court.
I know.
It's not. It cannot convict. But
they can. The resolution can be taken.
Can be taken. Yes. So
justice. That's what
good. So now,
what have been the
because the people are not making a very strong demand.
All right.
If the people come out to say we want this thing to be followed through and through, you have every right to demand accountability.
All right.
If the government decides to want to play smart, you can force the hand of government. There are so many tools that the people can use. Even public mass action can equally force that to happen. But like I said before, these people have a way of dividing the people. Where you see these supporters come out, the next thing they bring ethnic sentiment, they bring religious sentiment. All of a sudden, you see this kind of probe just die a natural death. So that is the problem.
All right. Moving forward, we'll still keep you abreast of the developments because the media head of Nasir El-Rufai, Muyiwa Adekeye, said that they are waiting to receive the reports of the probe so that they can respond robustly. But moving forward, the Labour Party has renamed the Directorate of Obedient Affairs to the Directorate of Mobilization and Integration. This was contained in a statement published on the party's website on Thursday and signed by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo. Now, Labour Party is making serious moves, probably to integrate the obedience fully into the fold. Do you think this is going to be successful?
The obedient movement is more or less an affiliate of the Labour Party. In fact, it came out of the Labour Party, even though it's a group that believes so much in a particular individual, which is the presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
The obedience came out of Labour Party?
No, without the Labour Party, you cannot get the obedient movement. Let us not deceive ourselves. The obedient movement cannot exist in isolation. I make bold to say that. One, let me give you my reasons. One, obedient movement is not a registered pressure group. Are you getting my point? It is not registered anywhere as a pressure group. So even if you want to call it a pressure group, it does not even have a legal leg to stand. You understand what I'm saying? Secondly, the person in question that the name was coined after became a member of the Labour Party before the rise of the obedient movement. When the former governor of Anambra State, the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, when he was in PDP, there was nothing like obedient movement. That is the fact. The obedient movement started
because
after
he didn't have the tickets.
He ran as vice president under Atiku Abubakar in 2015. No, whether it's vice or not, the point I'm trying to establish is this. I have nothing against the personality of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. We are looking at the obedient movement away from the Labour Party.
Okay.
And I'm trying to make you understand that without Labour Party, we wouldn't have had anything like obedient movement. Now, if the party has thought it expedient to incorporate it and maybe give it another name, they have such rights. So it now depends on the people who are members of this movement that is not registered to either officially do the needful, register obedient movement as a pressure group, just like we have GDI and other movement, Kwankwasa movement and all of that, you know, and maybe align with another political party, because obedient movement is not a political party. So for you to be able to have that capacity, you know, to support a candidate, which is their Peter Obi, you must be a member of a political party. In this case, Peter Obi is still a member of the Labour Party. I don't know if he has, you know, because I know that there are plans for
them to support. Okay, you have to be a member.
You have to be a member of a political party.
Right.
You cannot go to the polling unit and there's nothing like obedient movement on any of the ballot papers.
What you actually need to support a candidate is your voter's card. You don't need to be long, unless you're talking about inter-party politics.
Good.
When it comes to the overwhelming influence when it comes to primary elections. But apart from that, all you need as a citizen or as a member of obedient movement or anybody at all in the country is voter's card.
Agreed. Now, I'm happy that you made mention of inter-party politics.
Of course.
So, how does your preferred candidate even get the ticket in the first instance? Politics must definitely start from that level. You understand? So, my point is this. Obedient movement, they made a very strong statement in the last general election, no doubt. But you cannot entirely separate obedient movement from the Labour Party. If that is what they want to do now, if they want to just sever the relationship, perhaps maybe they are not in tune with what is happening in the Labour Party now. They have every right to do so as a movement, okay? But before you can have that leg to stand, you must either call it a pressure group or a family or something. It has to be something. You know, you cannot build something or nothing and expect it has to be something for it to stand, which means you must register it, and if you will start, you make it function as a pressure group on its own, devoid of any attachment to the Labour Party. That is my point.
All right. Now, we'll marry this with the next story because Peter B has come out to react to this particular move. The 2023 Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter B, has boasted that his obedient movement is far more than any political party in the country. The former governor of Anambra State said this in a statement while on Wednesday while explaining that the movement was not a directorate of any particular political party in the country. According to Obi, anyone claiming to be at the helm of affairs of what he described as a non-existent directorate is not a member of the obedient movement. He said the movement was more than a mere political party void of ethnic and religious affiliations. Now, this is the statement and the take of Peter B over the move by the LP. What is your immediate reaction to this?
My immediate reaction is, first of all, I think it should be established that Peter Obi did not form the obedient movement. He is not the founder of obedient movement.
But it was founded on him.
It was founded on him.
It's the very foundation.
So it was built on its name.
So you cannot take it away from
No,
him.
you can. Listen, I'm driving somewhere. Peter Obi did not gather people somewhere and say, from this day henceforth, I will call you people obedient movement because you are my followers. The name just came up on the streets. There was nowhere that people sat down to say, from this day henceforth will be called. It just came up. Just like you have articulate, you have Kwakwansias and the rest. So even the Kwakwansias are even more organized because Kwakwansias were, you know, they have this strong tie to, of course, to Kwankwaso, the former governor of Kano State.
And Kwankwaso was following the ideology of Aminu.
Yes, and they even have regular meetings. You know, so but I understand the position of Peter Obi because even though he wasn't the one that formed that movement, he can use it to his advantage because he's a politician.
Why you say use it to his advantage, Mufasa? The man, Peter B, you cannot take him away from the obedient movement.
Agreed.
It is Obi, then you add the dient.
Because that's what
he is the very bedrock of that movement.
That was what
he's the very foundation.
That was what the people called it.
Because he is symbolic and is representing a particular thing that Nigerians were yearning for in 2023.
Nigerians, that is relative.
Yes, the Nigerians who are the obedience.
Supporters. Supporters.
So you cannot take Peter B away from obedient movement. It's not making sense to me. So you can't take him away from obedient movement. He's the very foundation of that movement. Just like taking Kwankwaso away from the Kwakwasian movement. Yes, granted, Kwankwasians are part of NMPP, right? An integral part of NMPP, even though they have their back and forth right now in Kano State. But you can say yes, you can call them factional, you can call them anything, but you cannot remove Kwakwanso from Kwakwansians. So you can, just like you're saying, obedient movement can stand with it, that it doesn't need an Obi.
No, I never said
that. You said that the movement can be without him.
I know, and I've not
clarify that.
Good. I never said that. I said obedience. They came up as a group to support Peter Obi. What I said was that Obi himself
did not found that group. There's a difference between founding a group and a group of young people coming together and decided to say this is what we want to call ourselves. Just like Articulate. Atiku Abubakar did not gather people somewhere and said your name will become Articulate. You know, people here decide to identify themselves by a certain name because of the belief that they have in that individual. Now, if Peter Obi today decide to go back to the PDP, are you also aware that there are people in that movement who believe in him but does not believe in the ideology and philosophy of the PDP?
Are you also aware?
I'm coming.
Will you agree with me? There are other people in other political parties that are part of the obedience as well.
See,
are you aware of that?
Good. Now.
So it cuts across political parties.
Before I will answer that question, I also want to let you know that even in Rivers State, after the election, has there ever been? I don't know, but I am very, very much aware, to the best of my knowledge, that I have never heard that there will be a meeting of obedient movement at any given location or at any given time, either on radio, on TV, or any media platform. Which means the group is not even an organized group. That was why I said, if the obedient movement want to give the group a footing, they should officially register the group as a pressure group and state their objective, their mission, and all of you. You know, so whether Peter Obi is the owner of that group or not, that is a debate for another day. But what I'm saying today is Peter Obi himself does not have the sole control of that group. Peter Obi does not have.
I don't think he has come out to say he has.
Good. But if you look at what he is saying now, according to this statement, it simply means that he has a say in the activity of that. Like he can gather the group.
Doesn't Kwankwaso have a say in the activities of the Kwankwaso?
I made mention of something that the Kwankwasia group is far more organized than the obedient group. Now they have their followership. You know, now I'm glad you said even the Kwankwasia group does not even have the spread, the geographical spread that this obedient movement has.
It's even more easy.
It is easy for Kwankwaso to gather and control that group and organize that group.
Of course.
Obedient group are just group of people who just okay. I like this man. I believe in him. I am obedient. Then all of a sudden we started hearing obedient movement. And like I've said before, they made a very strong statement. I am equally advocate. I'm speaking even for their advantage, that for them to have a footing is to organize themselves, register that group, and make it a strong pressure group.
Now, Labour Party trying to integrate the obedience fully into their party. You know, when Julius Abure made this move and then appointed a chairman, and to that effect, certain groups, because there are different groups, the obedient movement have different obedient groups. Now, apparently, these groups also belong to a bigger body, have come out to reject that in totality. Now, and after that move, the next thing is this obedient directorate being dissolved and renamed by the Labour Party. Do you actually see the Labour Party succeeding in fully integrating the obedience movement? If you recall, in Edo State, after Apata emerged as the flag bearer for Labour Party in Edo State, the obedience said they were not satisfied, they were not happy with how the primaries happened, how it was conducted, and as a result, they were pulling their weight behind the APC candidates whom they believed their candidacy more. And that was their take. And they said in their statement that the obedience movement, that they do not belong to any political party. They are all about governance and good governance, regardless of the political party the person falls in. Now, when you look at this statement by the obedience in Edo State, would you say that Labour Party, it will be easy, or they will be successful in their attempt to integrate the obedience into the party?
You see, that was why I equally cited organization. Even in the Edo State, you cannot even say that there's a particular set of people that you can pinpoint to and say these are the actual obedient movements or the members of obedient movements. I'm glad you even mentioned that there were members of other political parties who perhaps because of the love they have for Peter Obi just answered the name obedient movement. And after the general election, they went back to their political parties. There are people in Edo State today who are members of the APC or the PDP who do not like either the presidential candidate of the APC or the presidential candidate of the PDP, and just decided to identify with the obedient movement. So how do you identify this group of people? So for me, like I've said before, there has to be something to hold on to. You know, obedient movement does not have a defined leadership structure. So it becomes very difficult to even want to, you know, negotiate or have a genuine conversation with a particular individual to say that this is the leader of obedient movement in Edo State. Yeah. You know, so the party, in its wisdom, perhaps, of course, I can't categorically, you know, speak for them, but from what I am sensing is that they want to give the movement a more substantial structure. When you want to change a name from this thing to a more befitting name, let it not be something that is tied to one individual alone. So let us give it the Directorate of Mobilization and all of that.
Is it a case of the Labour Party taking advantage of the pressure that the obedience can have
what is
to even further solidify their party?
Can anybody give me the actual number of the obedient movements in Nigeria?
Did they make a mark in 2020?
No, I said it now that there was they made a strong, and now we equally agree. Both of us agreed here that there were members of other political parties.
With anything. I don't know. Hold on. No. Let me correct something, Mr. Mufasa. I did not agree to anything you said. I neither concur. I did not disagree. I am very neutral. We are having a conversation.
Okay.
And I'm asking you questions.
Okay. Now can I quote you?
So I do not agree.
Okay. Madam Laurentia, can I quote you? You said here now, seated here, that there were members of other political parties.
Yes.
Who identified as obedient movement.
And who voted?
Who voted for Peter Obi?
It was across board.
Good. Now, and I equally said, in agreement, okay, I was the one that agreed with you.
So when you say we agree,
now. So the I said there is an agreement. Is it that you agree or I agree? But I am agreeing with you now. Okay. So which means there's an agreement that, no, let us not, this is, I agree with you. Yes, now, let me just make it simple. People from other political parties, people from PDP who do not like Atiku Abubakar because of whatever reasons best known to them, decide to say, okay, we are voting for Peter Obi. There are people from APC who do not like Bola Ahmed Tinubu because of reasons best known to them, decide to say, we are voting for Peter Obi. At that particular point in time, they were referred to as obedience. They were part of the movement. Now, after the general elections, most of these individuals went back to their party to support their own, just like what we're having in Edo State today. But politicians naturally would want to take advantage of situations like this, especially in the case of the obedient movement that don't even have a well-structured leadership organogram.
So who is taking advantage of the obedient movement?
All the politicians. If you go to Edo State, this one will tell you that I have obedient, I have obedient movement. Even people are not.
So
the candidate of the PDP.
You cannot take it away from them that they still wield an influence.
Who are the them now?
In the political ecosystem of the
I know what they did in 2023.
I don't. Here that in Edo State
if Peter Obi contesting,
they have the backing of the obedience.
If Peter Obi contesting election in Edo State.
But however, the obedience are making a wave, aren't they?
I'm asking now, is Peter Obi a candidate in Edo State?
In Edo State, that the PDP is coming out to say I have the obedience, the APC is saying I have the obedience. The thing is, what is it about the obedience?
The thing is, who are the obedience? That is the thing.
But
now.
Are they relevant?
I'm asking now, who are the obedience?
And the pressure that they are able to bring, is it making them relevant?
I know they were relevant in 2023.
So why are you then saying that politicians are seeking to take advantage?
Because that is the usual.
If they have nothing to offer, why are politicians seeking to take advantage?
Let me just make this position very, very clear.
All right.
When I mean politicians are trying to take advantage, is because there are certain few individuals, like you rightly said, who are not members of any political party. But because of the love they have for Peter Obi, they identified as obedience movements. Now, I am also aware that there are people currently who are using it to cash out, certain things for themselves. They go to negotiate as leaders of obedient movement, whereas they are jobbers. So, if I may ask, like I've asked before, who are the obedient movements?
Well, I think that will be left for the obedience to answer at this point because we are out of time. Thank you so much, Mr. Mufasa, for coming on.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for agreeing with me that, if things are put in proper perspective, there'll certainly be a headway.
Well, Mr. Mufasa, that is your opinion, and I do not agree with you.
Okay.
I am a journalist in my job.
It's okay, but you can still agree with me.
Your opinion is respected.
Agreed.
All right. Moving on, you can always follow us and stay connected on all our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. See you at the same time tomorrow.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought a